What's up, guys? My name's Dustin. I'm a graphic design lead here at Custom Offsets. Papa Sean said no, so I said, I'm gonna build my own. And that's where we're at. We're gonna build our own. Let's go. I am so excited. I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. What we're learning is if things can go wrong, they do. You don't fucking measure like any lines, you just do it. I'm beyond grateful. I'm beyond blessed. I appreciate everyone, here at Custom Offsets and all the partners that we worked with on, on this build. This has been quite the experience. It's been super cool to work alongside Banker for the last, week and a half and kind of watch this thing come together and be able to, poke him every time I had a question and really just learn, what goes into one of these builds. Again, I understand wheels, I understand tires, I understand suspension. I just didn't understand the components and the technical aspect of throwing one of these things in. But yeah, it was neat. And there was a point in time where they booted me out of the garage and said, you can't come back no more. And it was when they were throwing the ARKONs and the tires on there. And I'm glad they did that, because then they were able to put all that together and set it on the ground. And I really just got to come back and see it come to life, because even when it's on the lift and there's no wheels and tires on it, you don't really grasp the full concept of what it's going to look like until the everything else is kind of finished at that point. And I know we still didn't have the steps on, but we finally got those installed, and man, it looks incredible.
So can you help, Banker?
What do you want?
Never mind, I got somebody. I didn't do the
No, we custom wired. He needs to help me put my running boards on.
Pick up the whole cherries in.
Just stay there. I need help putting my running boards on. Let's go. He just said, go grab Hunter. And I said, I'm physically gonna go grab Hunter.
Is the cord more towards
the front?
Of the truck?
Front, yeah.
So this is your driver.
Okay, all right.
Should we open the door when we do it, or just?
No, go, man. This thing had its ups and its downs. There was highs and lows of pretty much every facet of what we did on the build. If I could say one thing, it's nothing works right. Like, nothing goes together perfect.
So I asked for instructions on what the height needs to be, and they said it needs to be 13 inches from the center of this to the bottom of this spring. To the bottom of this spring.
It needs to be right here.
Today has just been a day of problems. It's one of those things where you think you know until you start throwing things on and a bolt doesn't line up with a hole, and all of a sudden you're drilling new holes, or a bracket came and it's the wrong side bracket because they gave you two. You have two options at that point. It's either fix what you have and modify it to make it work, or it's reach out to the company, get a new bracket, whatever. So we just kind of went the fix it route, and we just made everything kind of come together. It wasn't anything major. There was no real suspension pieces that didn't fit or anything of that nature, just little things here and there. But definitely cool to learn the technical aspect of everything that goes into building one of these trucks. My whole life I've really dove into the things I want. I either really strive super hard to get, or I just go for. And honestly, I don't blame Sean. Like, CO2 is where it belongs, but it really gave me the opportunity to build my own, and I'm grateful for that. Because if I would have bought CO2, honestly, it would have just been another truck that I bought built that I got to do nothing to. And would it have been super cool? Yeah, but it's still someone else's vision, right? And this one's mine.
I like the color.
It's gunmetal, yeah. That is sick. Okay, only lift kit that we know of so far
includes
that includes a sway bar that mounts in the factory location. That was the coolest part, is reaching out to these people and telling Belltech, I really want to go with your suspension on the build. Radar tires, ARKON off-road for the wheels. We got body armor for the bumpers, black label lighting for all the rock lighting. We got Morimoto for the headlights and taillights. We got rough country for the side steps and the tonneau cover. FX window tinting, he took care of me on not only the window tint all the way around, and then on top of that, he chrome deleted the whole thing for me, so he wrapped the grill. So that was super cool, and we worked with Holley Performance and the Super Chip dash pack. I mean, the dash pack alone is super cool, and then I was able to, one night I was at home browsing, YouTube and whatnot, looking at some videos, and I saw the EAS system, and I ended up going out on the website and picking one of those up, and that to me it's sweet. I'm able to control my rock lights and any of the other accessories, light bars, cubes, right through the tuner, and that to me is super cool. And I am going to drive it all year long, and I look forward to doing videos for you guys on that too, of just how the hell does one of these things perform really throughout the winter, especially the Wisconsin winter. This one's been mild, but they usually, I mean, we get thrashed with snow out here. For all you southern people out there who don't understand what it's like to live in a place where they use salt on our roads, I present to you 1 day of driving in Wisconsin. There's 1 day of snow being on the road, but they literally put out a warning yesterday, I saw it, and it said extreme corrosion with the new salt they're using. So let's watch this thing. Well, I don't think it would have been my version of CO2 if we didn't do a Sean Bill test. So Sean, whip out the trusty hundo. So even though we only have like a 5.5-inch lip, honestly, with the infinity lip design that ARKON has, they obviously look much, much, much deeper than that. I mean, that's one of the benefits of the ARKON wheel, is the infinity lip design that they have. So.
Wow, it's not even rusty down here anymore.
That's because I painted.
Well, there's a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll just
I did a pretty good job.
It'll be fine.
I thought I bought literally the cleanest truck in Wisconsin. I thought I had the cleanest truck known to man. I was bragging about the fact this thing had no rust, and all of a sudden you start ripping the bumpers off, and you start ripping, things off, and start uncovering this, this gold mine of rust. That I spent a ton of time, grinding up the frame with a metal wire wheel and then painting it. On top of that, I went and grabbed some undercoating, and I undercoated the frame. I'm gonna have this professionally done, but I did not want to pull it out with it having, any kind of rust on there, because I knew you could see, what was going on.
$209 a piece for a wheel bearing? Those are $60.
Bro, you're f***ing killing me.
Hey, you're the one that decided to build the truck.
What do you mean? I didn't know.
They should be like $60 a piece.
Right, why is everything so expensive? This is worse than my Audi, and that's why I sold it. I know a lot of you out there think that all of this was just free. I saw those comments and whatnot. It really isn't. I spent a lot of money out of pocket doing what I had to do here. So I tried to save where I could. There's a couple things I financed. There was a couple things, that I paid for out of pocket, whatever. I tried to save what I could. I gotta go get Banker a high five. It looks really good. I want to give a huge shout out to Banker, man. He dealt with me for days, making fun of him, making jokes, but realistically, that guy is, incredible when it comes down to it. He's so knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. For me, there's no way, obviously, I'd be able to do it without him or someone like him. If I can give you one piece of advice, it's find you a banker. Find someone who knows what they're doing to help you. I kept going back, what are you doing? Where are we at? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I don't know how my man didn't lose his mind. He just dealt with it. My man put up with it, and I'm grateful for the teachings that he gave me while we were back there. He really slowed down. That's super helpful when it really boils down to wanting to learn. And I did, going into this build, I wanted to learn. And I hope you guys, I hope there's some of you out there that, were able to watch this and learn as well, because I hope I asked the right questions and And I know I've seen a lot of you commenting on the YouTube, and shout out to you guys too. You guys have been awesome. I think some of the comments have been great, and a lot of you were super excited to see the build, and it's really cool that when it's you, you know, you sit there and you watch, you want to know what people think about you. And you know, there was a couple dickheads here and there, but for the most part, you guys were cool. I appreciate that, and everybody that came back and, you know, made jokes and whatever the case is, because now I really feel it. Now that the finished product's done, I've had so many people come up to me and they're like, man, that thing is sick. And I'm not gonna lie, man, it feels good to hear. So,
Like, who in the world would be like, you know, Dad,
Johnny, what do you want to do for a living? Well, Dad, I really don't like rusty vehicles, so I think I'm going to drill off rust off frames for a living, because there are people who do this. I did learn a ton, you know, throughout the whole thing. Like, I was able to watch it all come together, and I'm fairly confident now that if, you know, I was watching it again, I would be able to point out really what its, you know, job in the truck is and what it does. Something I've always wanted to do is build something of my own. I've just never had the opportunity, and Custom Offsets did provide that opportunity for me. You know, at the end of the day, it's my version of CO2, and it feels like it, it rides like it, it's, you know, about as tall as it. I'm gonna do a couple things. I have some things in mind that already just looking at it that I wanna do, you know, powder coating the spike lug nuts to match the suspension, possibly like the control arms. You know, seeing if I can get those powder coated to match some of the suspension components. Obviously the bumpers, getting those acid washed. If you're like me and you want to get a build done, you don't have to do it all at once. You really don't. Start with, you know, little bits and pieces and throw your build together. So every time you put a part on, you're gonna feel better. Every time you put something else on, you're gonna feel better. And that's how I felt. And you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to do it in a week's time, but even if it takes you, you know, 2 or 3 years to get all those pieces on, when you put that final piece on and your build's complete, it feels good, man. It's been an experience from an enthusiast standpoint of taking a want and making that come to life. Super, super cool. I hope each and every one of you that want to do something to your vehicle, you go out and do that. And don't let anyone tell you any different. Don't let anyone put you down. Don't let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Just do your thing. Make your build, make it yours, and be proud of it, you know, when it's all said and done. I really look forward to, you know, having a kind of a show truck of my own that I can, you know, drive around and go to the gas station and look back at and go, man, that's mine. So yeah, it's super cool.